What's up, guys? We're here at Wolf Creek Rentals in our hometown of Robbinsville, real close to the Dragon, just right down Highway 28, Toccoa, North Carolina. And we're picking up this Vanderhall trike today to take it out for a little review and test drive and get some photos. And then pretty soon we'll also be checking out one of their new Nikon three-wheeled bikes, and they've got 8 of these things in their stock, but still working on getting the insurance and paperwork prepared for that. So for now, we're going to check this out today and see what it's all about. So let's go for a ride. This is the Vanderhall Venice. It's a 2018 model. It's considered an Autocycle. Some call it a reverse trike, and Lori and I had a chance to take it out and enjoy the area a couple of days, so we're going to give you some feedback on it. Lori's here with me to drop in and do a little dialogue. Everywhere we took it got a lot of attention. Obviously, I think anybody that was within eyesight locked onto it. So we're going to play some random clips here while we talk about our thoughts on what it was like to live with it. Lori's pulling out here and taking off. It's a front-wheel drive, 200 horsepower turbo, 1.4 liter 4-cylinder by GM. It's an automatic, and the front-wheel drive and automatic thing really surprised me about it. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it that much, but it turned out to be one of the most fun little tools I've ever driven. The exhaust note was surprisingly deep, and it sounded really good. It made some little whooshing sounds when you let off the throttle, the turbo diverter blow-off valve, but nothing too annoying or anything like that. I think it was a really nice mix. But yeah, I was surprised how deep of a tone that the engine had to be a 4-cylinder in the small 4-cylinder at that. It made power down low and mid-range really nicely where the turbo comes in. There's not much lag, but it doesn't really like to spool up and rev up real high, so you don't have to, there's no point in really revving it out. Here we are kind of playing around the Dragon, and I'm running with my friend Hiram, so that's not Lori's hand you're seeing there in the side. It's not that big. But yeah, as a passenger, what did you think?
It was fun as a passenger. Could use a little bolstering on the seats to a little more stability, something you can see Hiram, and later in other clips you'll probably see me holding on to that outer edge, and it's only an issue on the twistier stuff if you're touring, so to speak, somewhere like the Skyway. I really don't see it being too much of an issue. It's just the sportier adventure driving that we're doing on the Dragon that I kind of need a little extra stability. Yeah, the ergonomics, if it was ours, we would change a couple of things. We'd put little better bolstered seats in, racier seats. The nice thing about this thing being a sort of a drop-in style cockpit where you come in from the top, you could put a really racy seat in there and it wouldn't be that any more difficult to get in and out of because you're dropping in. The steering wheel is also pretty thin rimmed and a little bit large of a diameter ring, so it looks cool and everything, but I just felt like I would like to have a little fatter steering wheel. Yeah, because your hands would, gripping a steering wheel that was so small, your hands would start to hurt. And slide around a little bit. You felt like you had to grip it a little bit harder than normal. The pedals and everything were nice. It needed a better dead pedal setup for my left foot to brace against, but I think there's a plate that's like comes in most of them. And then also from a passenger standpoint, her feet were a little bit dangling in the floorboard too, and would have been nice to have a plate back there that she could push herself back against. The brakes were really strong, a little bit aggressive on the initial pump in, like it had a little bit too much boosting. The throttle was really nice and linear. Felt really good to just how it got on the power. The shifting, so it was an automatic, and it's not like it's an electronically controlled automatic. It wasn't really tricky dual clutch thing or anything like that, but it did have, this one had the optional bump shifter on the left of the steering wheel there, which was kind of neat. It gave you a little bit more interaction with the mechanics of the vehicle without being too distracting. I don't know if a stick shift would be really
that practical in this thing, 'cause it's so tight, the cockpit, that fitting a stick shift between the passenger and the driver's legs would be really tricky. But the bump shifter was nice. Had a nice feel to it. It would get a little bit stuck in the forward or rearward position as you shifted, and it was the proper direction for shifting. You pull back to shift up. Now right here you notice a little red dot in the middle of the rear tire there, and it's on both sides. And then the front wheels, they have a yellow dot in the middle of them, and that's reflective, and that's to meet the highway standards. So it has to have an orange reflector in the front and a red one in the rear facing sideways. So that's how they got that taken care of.
And here we are going up the Foothills Parkway, the new missing link, and the openness of the Venice was amazing for taking in the scenery around you. Here we are going across one of the several bridges. It's just beautiful, spectacular views. A little chilly, but totally worth it if you can make it.
Yeah, the amenities it has cruise control, it has heated seats, which are really strong, and there were
Nice.
3-position heated seats. Lori really liked those.
Yeah.
They would toast your buns. In the high position it almost hurt, but came in really good because we were driving around the pool. And it also has a heater that blows out hot air in the middle. Not the greatest. It blows a lot of air, but it's just because you're in an open cockpit. It can't do a whole lot. So here we are going into a sunset up on the new section of Foothills Parkway, and then going into night. And there's a little segment here that I shot with dialogue, so I'm gonna let that one take over and talk about the headlights.
The lights are pretty good. The high beam, as you can probably see in the video there, really wants to mostly illuminate the road just right in front of the car. And the low beam, I'll pull it back here, the low beam is shaped like a W pattern more or less. So there's a couple of shafts that go off to the side, and then there's a chunk in the middle there. So low beam's got a pretty good pattern. I'm noticing like a spot up high right now, though I hadn't noticed before. But the high beam is aimed just a little too low, and I don't know if these headlights, how adjustable they are. They're kind of behind a grill on these cars.
Now, the front-wheel drive aspect, I really had low expectations going into that. I'm not a big fan of front-wheel drive, and this is the only trike that I know of that's front-wheel drive. But these things have so much front authority that it actually works out great. You can really pin it coming out of the turns, and you don't have to worry about anything crazy happening. So I think as a rental platform especially, it's a really smart vehicle. Both as a renter and a renter.
Yeah, and you feel safer. For someone like me, I am not good with the back end sliding out. I don't like for a car to move, slide, drift. I'm more of the car stays planted person, and this vehicle definitely felt like it stayed planted. I didn't feel like it was about to move or slide on us in any unpredictable way.
Yeah,
and we were on rather cold roads.
Yeah, and the limits are really pretty high on it. It was hard to really find any kind of, limitations on it. You can really push it pretty hard, and it just gripped and went. I think that, from driving in the rain and things like that they say that those rear drive trikes, they can get a little crazy with the hydroplaning, so you got to kind of be careful there. But I think overall, from a rental standpoint, it's a great little platform to play on. Getting in and out was a little tricky. You had to sort of step over the side seal and step down into the seats, and it wasn't too bad. Just one of those things you kind of got used to. The storage capacity was pretty small, limited behind the seats. There's a space back there that you can slide the seat forwards and get in there, but you're sharing it with the gas tank. So there shows the suspension. It's cantilever suspension, which is really cool. So it has the shocks are inboard underneath the hood, and the hood's pretty tricky to get off. You got to remove like 8 screws to get it off. But yeah, there you have it. We had a really good time with it, and if you want to check out Wolf Creek Rentals in Stacoa, Robbinsville. We'll have a link in the description. If you got any suggestions or any feedback there, let us know. Thanks, you guys.
See y'all.